If you find yourself here in the car running to pick up dinner way more often than you want, if you have goals to cook dinner at home more, eat dinner at home more, save money on food in 2025, this is the video for you. And be sure to watch all the way to the end of the video where I share some specific dinners that I think will help you eat dinner at home more often. So I'm stealing this concept a little bit from the Atomic Habits book, but it applies to everything, like the book kind of says, right? So in that book, it talks about how you need to make the habit you want to have easy and simple, and the habit you want to break seem harder, less attainable, less desirable, things like that. And that really is the way to ditch the drive-through. If you want to eat dinner at home more, you have to make having dinner in the house, eating dinner at home, making dinner easier and more accessible than hitting up the drive-through, driving to Chick-fil-A, picking up takeout, whatever it is you do. You want to make that actually more difficult. And I actually find that, so we eat dinner at home 7 nights a week, most weeks of the year. And part of that, and I'll get to this, I will address like afternoon activities. If you're spending 3 hours at your kid's baseball tournament, I get it. Like, you're probably going to get takeout. We're going to talk about how to make that cheaper too. But anywho, my kiddo is only 2.5, so she doesn't have afternoon activities, right? No evening activities. So that is part of that. And I know that's not normal. But the things I do that make it easy to eat dinner at home are still applicable, right? So yeah, making dinner at home super easy is the key. And for me, the decision of where to go pick up food is often like more mental effort than just eating the things I have in my kitchen. Which brings me to point number 1, have backup dinners or super simple meals that are so easy that literally driving to pick up food is more effort, more work. Making that decision of where to go pick up food and then the act of doing it is more work than just throwing together this super simple dinner. So that is my tip number 1. Make dinner so easy, or have dinner options planned that are so easy that going to pick up food is actually more work. And like I said in the intro, at the end of this video, I'm going to share some specific ideas for that. So stick around for that. So I have a little bit different philosophy than some other budget living accounts, I'd say. I don't think you should make everything from scratch. I don't think you should only plan from scratch dinners. I am pro frozen dinners and convenience ingredients to a degree. I think you should meal plan, and check out this video I'm linking here for my tips on, like, if you're anti-meal planning, how to meal plan and why you need a meal plan, why it's the most important thing to save money on groceries. So you do have to meal plan. And real quick, if you think meal planning is like boring or it's too rigid, you don't have to plan it that way. So check out that video and it'll talk more about that. But anywho, you do need a meal plan. So we're just going to pretend like you're pro meal planning, even if you're not, right? So you need to meal plan and have some meals in that meal plan that are stupid simple, right? Like, so easy, again, that making that super easy meal is easier than going to the drive-thru. So I believe you really shouldn't plan to cook every night. That's not realistic for most people. I think you should intentionally plan to have semi-homemade meals, frozen dinners, or even plan nights out. If you plan your nights out, you're still going to spend less than if you were just flying by the seat of your pants, running to Chick-fil-A, grabbing a bunch of things, showing up at the Little League field, or to your dining table with a bunch of takeout food, right? So if you purposefully and intentionally and with thought plan dinners out, plan super simple dinners, plan to use frozen pizzas, things like that. If you plan these things, you're gonna save money. All right, so you do need a meal plan, but your meal plan can be super flexible and can involve nights out and can involve things like frozen pizza. And I think it should. But going beyond that, again, you need to make dinner at home more enticing than going out to eat. If you were trying to save money, you don't need to try to force yourself to cook from scratch homemade things. Even if you aren't going as far and as simple as a frozen pizza or something like that, you can utilize the convenience ingredients I mentioned a minute ago. I'm just making myself all kinds of tongue-tied convenience ingredients. I don't know why I always choose to call it that, but these shortcut ingredients like bottled sauces, pre-chopped things, those don't have to be super expensive either. So I find a balance between homemade things and from scratch things and the things that are cheap enough but are still shortcuts. I use frozen vegetables almost every night for dinner. I don't have to chop them. I don't have to store them in my refrigerator and hope they don't go bad before I get around to cooking them. So that is another key, is having that flexibility. So actually one of my points, I kind of went a little bit off my plan for how I was going to talk about this, per usual. I always like write out an outline for my YouTube videos and then I just ramble. But utilizing canned goods and frozen goods to make yourself able to decide, I'm not going to cook dinner tonight, I'm going to use a frozen pizza. I'm not going to cook dinner tonight, it's going to be my one night a week we go to the drive-thru, things like that. If you have canned goods, frozen items, what am I trying to say? If your meal plan is based around those, if the meals you are planning to cook whatever night you cook them, if they are primarily things that are not going to spoil, then it's okay to be flexible and to change your mind and to cook something else without wasting food. So I have another video all about how to buy less to save more. And I talk more about that in that video, so be sure to check out that one as well. Those will all be linked in the description so you can easily access those when you want to watch them next. But anywho, so yeah, having that flexibility by using canned and frozen things is also really key to helping yourself ditch the drive-thru. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on yourself to cook at home. Too much pressure is not going to help you reach your goals. Again, in another video, in my last video actually, talking about goals for 2025, if one of your goals is lowering your grocery bill, I talk about how to set realistic goals. And yeah, trying to make yourself rather, because you're not actually going to succeed, but trying to make yourself go from like 5 nights out a week to only cooking at home is not going to happen. So having that flexibility between when you're going to cook and when you're not going to cook is really important. And yeah, allowing yourself those frozen dinners and those times that you do hit up the drive-thru. So how do you avoid the drive-thru on those nights where you find yourself, running kids from multiple activities, spending hours at one activity, and you got to feed the kids? So you can be really frugal and plan things like pre-make some sandwiches, make your own like DIY Lunchables where you buy those little bento boxes that everybody is so into on Amazon and you slice up. So I'm talking like you're going to do this yourself. Don't buy things like Lunchables. Don't buy those convenience ingredients. Those are so much more expensive than they need to be. You can buy yourself a sleeve of crackers, even pre-sliced lunch meat and things, and they're going to be so much cheaper if you put them in your own package than buying it in a package. It's so dumb. So if you do want to do that, get yourself some bento boxes off Amazon and prep them yourselves, and then take those to the Little League fields, things like that. Or if you still feel the need to go to the drive-thru, don't buy combo meals. So buy yourself some Chick-fil-A nuggets, buy your kiddos some Chick-fil-A nuggets, or yourself, whatever, and then grab some goldfish and pour them into a big bag from home. Grab some apples from home, some bananas, like make your own sides to go with the main dish, whatever it may be. McDonald's burgers, Chick-fil-A nuggies, whatever. Whatever your family wants, get that main dish, but supplement with your own sides to bring down the price. And again, I said pour some goldfish into a baggie. The prepackaged ones are going to be more expensive than if you buy the big one and pour it into your own Ziploc bags. Takes 30 seconds. Do it and you're going to save money. Or, I also talk in other videos about how snacks can really be a money suck, and you need to have, what do I call it? Not empty snacks. Empty snacks are budget busters. Filling snacks are going to prevent you from you or your children from eating out of house and home, right? If you actually get filled up with the snacks you buy. Those empty snacks like potato chips aren't going to make you not hungry. And especially if you're feeding your kiddo that's about to go to like t-ball practice, you want them to have good substantial food. So goldfish actually has some protein, right? So if you grab some Chick-fil-A nuggets and you prepackage your own little pre-portioned thing of, what did I just say? Goldfish. You are going to save money, but still not spend a lot of time trying to get dinner together. All right, now some inspiration for super simple dinners. These are the things that I was saying are so easy to throw together that it's easier than going and waiting in a drive-through line at Chick-fil-A at 6 p.m. at night. They're super efficient, but you know it still takes a while and everybody's there, and yeah, you have to drive there, you have to have clothes on, things like that. So if you have these super simple meals on hand, this is going to be more enticing than going to pick up food, at least for you. Maybe not for your kids, but you know, that's a whole other story. So the first one is cheese quesadillas. And what do I mean by cheese quesadillas? I mean melting some shredded cheese on a tortilla. Yeah, that's it. That can be dinner, especially if you dip it in some salsa, you dip it in some guacamole, both things that you could make homemade or you can buy. If you dip it in those, you got starch, you got some protein in the cheese, and then you got veggies and the salsa or the guacamole. That's a meal. That's actually one of my favorite backup meals. We've had that for dinner randomly throughout the years. I just will not feel like cooking dinner, but we have cheese, tortillas, and salsa on hand. I'm like, okay, cool. And that's what we have for dinner. It totally counts, you know? Tomato soup and grilled cheese. You can keep a big can of tomato soup in your pantry all the time. And, you know, at my house, we always have cheese. We always have cheese and bread. So that's always an option. And, you know, unless you're like gluten-free or dairy-free, which you can just have tomato soup with, I don't know, gluten-free crackers or something. But yeah, a can of tomato soup in your pantry is really easy. Baked tortellini or baked ravioli, either one. The tortellini or ravioli is frozen, and then you have a jar of pasta sauce, and then again, if you top it with cheese, we always have cheese in my house. So that's a really easy dinner. I will link, I'm pretty sure I can link shorts. I have a short talking about how to make baked ravioli, and if it's linkable, it will be linked here. You can buy pre-made burger patties. You can freeze the buns so they are always ready to go, and you can buy frozen french fries. There you go. Tell me that's not easier than going and waiting in a takeout line. Same concept with fish and chips. You just throw the frozen fish sticks and the frozen fries, chips, into the oven, and again, much easier than going to the drive-thru. We also really enjoy naan pizza. So you buy the naan bread, and it's basically flatbread pizza. You can buy flatbread, but we just prefer the naan. They're really tasty. There's some pizza sauce on it. Again, cheese that we always have on hand. Throw it in the oven. Pizza. And then lastly, this one's probably obvious, but again, jarred pasta sauce, and then noodles, spaghetti noodles, stay in your pantry all the time. So you always have these backup ideas, backup options for dinner on hand in your pantry, in your kitchen, so that when you're like, I really don't feel like cooking dinner tonight, you don't have to. You can semi-cook dinner, put in a little bit of effort, and again, it is actually easier to throw these things together than to, I mean, if you're already home, like get back in the car and go to the drive-thru, but even honestly, stopping at the drive-thru on the way home can be really tedious when everybody's going at the same time. So yeah, steal that idea from Atomic Habits. Make your habit of eating at home easier and more enticing than going out, and then make that habit of going out seem less enticing, make it more difficult than eating at home. All right, I hope you found these tips and my rambles helpful. If you would like to check out more of my rambles, be sure to subscribe and check out this, what's it called, playlist.